Before I get into this, let me first give you a little history about the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Ninth Circuit sits here in Las Vegas. It is the most liberal court in the land. They're the ones who everybody turns to when they want something completely against traditional America to be passed into judicial decision law. So it comes with great surprise that they would issue a ruling like this one, until you remember that Obama did the same thing too. Not only Obama, his 5 predecessors did the same exact thing. This is what the news is never going to tell you. They don't want you to know that Obama did the same thing, and even worse. They want you to be against Trump, who is our president, and to act as if Trump is doing something completely new, when in fact, the people that advise Trump are the same people who always advise presidents. The presidency is not a seat of power. It is a seat of scapegoatism. That's all it is. That's all it ever was. George Washington and his predecessor, yes, George Washington had a predecessor. We had a president who was black before George Washington. Said, no, we have to start something new. You can't name me king. I don't want to be king. We have to have something new. We have to have something that represents the people. And they came up with the president, just as if it were a company or a corporation. And I know some of you conspiracy theorists are going to tell me that the United States is a corporation, and in 1913 they signed letters saying that the United States was no longer a country, and instead the federal government was a corporation, and it ran the United States as a corporation. Yes, I've already heard all of that. What I want to point out to you here in my allegory, in my metaphor, is that the whole point of a representative republic that we have in the United States, not a democracy, is that the people that we elect into office are supposed to be sort of like shareholders. And they're supposed to say, what do we get out of it? What do I get out of it? And my people are asking me, what do I get out of it? Well, we've left that behind. Now we have an establishment that is deeply entrenched in the government, and they will not let their claws out of it. If I were president, I would stop entire agencies. Maybe I shouldn't say anything now. Maybe one day when I do run for president, I don't want them to reverse back, go through my old videos and hear me say stuff like this, because they'll make sure that I never win. Honolulu, AP News. A U.S. appeals court on Monday allowed President Donald Trump's newest version of the travel ban to partially take effect. Now, if you don't know anything about AP News, it's the Associated Press. They are an amalgamation of all the news that's floating around. They have people who work for them directly, and they also have reporters that report on specific things, and they transact with AP News so that everybody has the same exact news. So when you say Fox has different news than CNN, you don't know what you're talking about. Or CBS, you don't know what you're talking about. That Fox is conservative, you don't know what you're talking about. They try and appeal to a conservative audience because the conservative audience is actually bigger than the liberal audience, but you wouldn't know that by everything that the mainstream media puts out, because the mainstream media is controlled by a few individuals. And the few individuals want you to think that everything is hunky-dory and that the Democratic Party is for the people, which it is not. Not a single special interest in the Democratic Party is for the people. Not a single one. Name one. I can tell you stories about the group that will make your hair curl or uncurl, depending on your particular origin. The Ninth Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals ruling will bar people from 6 Muslim-majority countries, including in the travel ban, who do not have a bona fide relationship with a person or entity in the U.S. from entering the country. The ban can't be enforced against people who have those relationships. And I guess that's going to be on a case-by-case basis. Oh, I'm the second cousin of the third pastor of the friend of, right? Hawaii sued to stop the latest ban, which was announced in September, hours before it was set to take full effect last month. U.S. District Judge Derek Watson in Hawaii issued a ruling blocking the ban. Watson found that the new ban, like the version before it, failed to show that nationality alone makes a person a greater security risk to the U.S. I'm saying this really slowly because I'm going to show you something where this judge is talking out of the side of his neck. He is a liar and should not be on the bench. Why do I say that? I'm going to get to that in a second. The policy applied to travelers from Chad, Iran, Libya, North Korea, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen, plus some Venezuelan government officials and their families. Rulings against the ban in Hawaii and later in Maryland apply only to the 6 Muslim-majority countries. They did not affect the restriction against North Korea or Venezuela. What do you say? What do you mean, Shakaama? What does he mean, Shakaama? Exactly. So apparently, if you're from North Korea or Venezuela, what was his wording? It does show that nationality alone makes a person a greater security risk to the United States. So being from North Korea, for some reason, makes that judicial question of whether or not the nationality of somebody alone makes them a security risk to the United States. Being from Venezuela supposedly alone makes you a national security risk to the United States. Oh, but when it comes to Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Yemen, oh, that doesn't apply. We must ignore all of the past history of people from those areas doing stuff to people in Paris, Spain, England, Scotland, Ireland, France, Germany, Sweden, Norway to a lesser extent, Italy, Greece. That didn't happen. And it wasn't because of their country of origin. Oh, why must wise men ignore facts? Either you're not a wise man or you're ignoring the fact. The U.S. government appealed, saying the ruling thwarted Trump's effort to keep the American people safe. This is the exact wording that Obama used when he did his travel ban. The exact same wording. I'm issuing this ban to keep the American people safe. The Ninth Circuit in San Francisco had blocked previous versions of the ban. Quote, "We are reviewing the court's order and the government will begin enforcing the travel proclamation consistent with the partial law," U.S. Department of Justice spokeswoman Lauren Earsom said in a statement. "We believe that the proclamation should be allowed to take effect in its entirety." Has anybody questioned what actual authority the president has? Is it delineated in any sort of law, regulation, constitution? Why, Shakaama? Yes, it does. What does it say? From the very beginning of the country, from the foundation of the United States, the president, one of his very few spelled out powers was that he could ban anybody from any country from entering the United States. That's one of his very few powers. So any objection to the president of the United States banning somebody means that you need to go to another country, to a completely different country. You have no say-so in this. This is why I don't even understand them even giving credence to any sort of judge. What is he going to do? I would say you have no jurisdiction over this matter. Why? Because it is clearly delineated and it's expansive. You can say, I don't want Winston Thurston Howell III from Wales, Great Britain, coming over here. And you couldn't say anything. You couldn't say jack squat because that is literally written out. He can say anything about anybody coming into the country and banning them. That is one of his few powers that he has. All of this other presidential decrees doesn't really have that power. What are they really trying to do? They're simply trying to come against President Trump and do anything, say anything, and do anything against him. They don't have the jurisdiction to tell the President of the United States he can't ban somebody. He has the way it's spelled out. It's like he could really ban the entire world, and nobody in the United States, not even Congress, could say anything. It is not a power of Congress to even be in the question, nor is it the judicial branch. That is one of the checks and balances, that he definitely has this power, and it is expansive. He can do anything he wants in banning people from entering the country. It's expansive. In June, the justices said the travel ban could not keep out of the country people who could claim a bona fide relationship with someone or a group in the U.S. The appellate judges adopted language that the Supreme Court itself either wrote or blessed when it considered legal challenges to the previous version of the travel ban. What previous version of the travel ban? Who was president when they heard this? Why, was his name Trump? No, it wasn't. Shakaama, what are you saying? It was Obama. It was George W. Bush. It was William Clinton. It was Bush 41. It was Ronald Reagan. It was Jimmy Carter. Did I leave somebody out? It was Jimmy Carter. Oh, I feel ashamed that so many of you don't know your history. The justices did not list precisely what kind of relationship were covered, but they left in place a subsequent Ninth Circuit ruling that protected grandparents, cousins, and other relatives. Monday's ruling spells out the close family relationship, includes grandparents, grandchildren, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, aunt, uncle, nieces, nephews, and cousins. The decision closely tracks guidance previously issued by the Supreme Court, Hawaii Attorney General Doug Chin said in a statement. I'm pleased that family ties to the United States include grandparents will be respected. We continue to prepare for substantive arguments before the Ninth Circuit Court in December 6 in Seattle. And I just so happen to be thumbing through some of the research for this. And while it was mentioned, not everybody heard of it. Obama makes a sudden trip to Hawaii 48 hours before a judge blocked travel ban of Trump. They called him a deep state saboteur. Anti-Trump Hawaii judge was Obama nominee who practiced law in San Francisco. Now, the Obama administration stopped processing Iraq refugee requests for 6 months in 2011. Obama also had the most expansive deportation of illegal aliens all the way up to his point, more than any president before, including FDR. No matter what he said in public, what he was actually doing was carrying out the law to the fullest effect, most efficiently. And nobody said anything. Now, when I say nobody said anything, it's that the mainstream media didn't say anything. Special interest groups, like La Raza and the Mexican and special interest groups, pounded and pounded and pounded him to stop deporting people. Now, for his second term in office, he reversed what he was doing, and he stopped deporting people. It was the largest deportation in the history of the country. If you like me dissecting the news for you, please leave a like, leave a comment. This is the intellectual channel. You can speak your side of the story. I'm not going to ban you for whatever, but make sure it's on topic. Leave a like if you really want me to keep doing these videos like this. When I said that before, you did a fantastic job. 54 likes in like a couple of hours. And then the very last video, you did 13 likes. I don't understand. Do you want the news? Do you want the truth? Or don't you? I'm not trying to put you down. I'm trying to say, I'm fighting a fight here. This is a battle. I don't think you get it. To you, you just click a button and the video comes on. Behind the scenes, I'm settling lawsuits. I'm talking to companies. I'm saying what's going on. Is YouTube, and then YouTube all of a sudden goes, oh, there's nothing wrong with your channel. There's nothing wrong with what you say. And they monetize everything. But by the time they do that, interest in the video has gone through the floor. So it doesn't matter. It's censorship no matter what it is. What I need from you all is every single person who hears it to do the thumbs up. That is tangible, that advertisers can see, they can check, they can put on a number sheet, like, thumbs up, like, and comments. Now the comments is something that I love. I don't think you know this. Most YouTubers really love comments. I love comments. I live for comments. Did I pique your interest? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm an intellectual. You cannot hurt my feelings. Thank you for watching. Please support the channel. I'm in dire need. Patreon.com/Shakaama. Thank you.